Welcome to Daily 5 for Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023. Well, you may have heard that the owner of the former company known as Twitter, and I'm not going to even refer to it by its new name since that's such a stupid name, but yes, Twitter, the name and the branding is now all but gone. I think it's still in a few places on the app, but in effect it has been transformed into what is one of the astonishing thing about Elon Musk and everything that he's doing is it really at this point, and I don't know how any neutral person observing it could see it any other way, but at this point it really does just feel like active spite to any possible criticism of what's being done, that Musk keeps making these bizarre decisions in terms of what he's doing with Twitter. And I'm just going to keep calling it Twitter. But now that that company name has been changed, and as many people have pointed out, that has erased any brand loyalty there because the new company's name is so generic, bland, boring, and juvenile that it's hard to imagine that anybody besides the utterly devoted Musk sycophants would see this as a wise move. I mean, just purely from a business decision, you can, and this is not even getting into the accounts that are being allowed back onto Twitter and the fact that he's going after people who are, looking at what's being done. All that stuff is par for the course. And you can actually make, I wouldn't agree with it, but there is an argument that can be constructed around how that is consistent with the way that Musk has done things in the past and what he has claimed his values are, even if it does result in what could only be described as hate organizations and hateful individuals now being associated to the platform. That there is again, not one I would agree with, but there is an argument that can be made that when he allows these people back on, he is in fact expressing the purest interpretation of free speech, even speech that is known to be harmful. Again, I think it's a pretty weak and cynical and selfish argument, but I can sort of see it. But nobody, and I'm certainly not positioning myself as a business professional. I would never be accused or described as such, but even I, with my very limited marketing and business training and know-how, understand the value of brand loyalty and a recognizable name, especially one that in some ways defined a certain segment of the category it exists in. Now, whether you thought that Twitter was overrated, underrated, a great tool, a cesspool, whatever, it's very hard to deny that it is one of the pillars of what, at least up until now, has been the social media space. It does exist with a type of weight and power that many other brands never achieved. So, at the very least, that was attached to the name that it always had up until now. So, it's essentially being flushed in what feels like, again, something that, I don't know, in a movie, a child who was given millions started to do with the company, and then by the end of the movie, some adult slaps him around and says, okay, you're going to ruin the legacy of the person, your father's company that you've been given, and you've decided to do this with it, and it's a bad idea. And then at the end, he learns the lesson, realizes that he was acting like a fool, and actually starts making smart decisions. This feels like the inverse of that. This feels like a child mentality, and realistically, I think that's what it is, that has been empowered by a large amount of wealth and probably nobody who ever tells him he's doing a bad idea, or at least no one whose opinion he values, telling him it's a bad idea, probably because the only opinions he values are those who tell him he's only making smart decisions. Again, the people who lap up and every idea of his and lick his boots on every stupid thing that he does. And so that is what leads to this type of decision. That, again, Musk aside, a business person, anybody with any type of business or branding strategy would tell you, you don't take a good brand and just dump it unless you have a really good reason to do so. And generally that reason is to clean it from some kind of scandal. And I don't know that you could make that argument with Twitter. So I don't know. I look at this and I'm like, wow, well, I guess it's just Musk being Musk. Later.